A very, very warm welcome to everyone here at a new place, so people found it a little tricky to find it, but normally it's the Metropolitan Police Centre, so a lot of you found it quite easily, so obviously you have a lot of dealings with the police, I thought so. The first part of today is that I'd like everyone to come and join us at the front here, because there's a lot of slideshows, so those VIP seats there, which were reserved, but unfortunately, if everyone can come in this area, I think that'll be good, rather than, so then that will focus our speaker as well. So if everyone makes their way into this arena, that'll be good. All the boys can take the seats here as well. And at any stage, if we can't see clearly, we do have blinds, so we'll use the blinds to close on the room itself. So let's begin with Mangala Charan, everyone. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Narati Swapadantikam Vande aham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Mitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagadapate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kantha Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Dhanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Praschata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're just a little late in starting. We had some technical hitches here. And we've just resolved those cable issues now. It's a new venue, so we thought certain things would work, certain parameters, but they didn't work. So once again, a very warm welcome, and I know more are coming. I can see them all finding their way in that turning in here. We're very fortunate that the sun has come out again on this Easter day. Normally, we may have gone away to Buckland and other things, but this year it wasn't possible. So at least we thought that this is something that is very feasible, a function which has been organized by Krishna Purna and Chaitanya Jeevan, so that everyone can take advantage of the holidays. And there isn't much to do normally, so at least we can all come together and excel in our own Krishna consciousness. We're fortunate that we have with us, once again, His Grace Gaur Gopal Prabhu. So let's welcome him with Three Hari Bol. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! And presently, I think we're all trying to strike balance in life. Generally, we're striking, and the balance is never there. So hopefully, in his first session today, he'll be taking us through this. And then, of course, we'll be looking at the pastime for the rest of the day, the pastime of Ajamil. Which canto of the Bhagavatam is that in? Kaveri there. Look, even Kaveri has arrived, everyone. And he said, 6th canto. Let's have a round of applause for Kaveri there. The 6th canto. And after we've finished everything here, Kaveri will be speaking on the 7th canto this evening. For all of us here as well. We've started a little late, so hence our timing will be started 20 minutes late, so hence we'll just be running 20 minutes later according to the schedule. So without taking up any more time, there's lots of announcements, but the first seminar, and then there's a little break just after that. Hare Krishna.
Audible? Hare Krishna. Mukam karoti vachalam panghum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Pranamam. Hare Krishna. So, it's a great pleasure being back here to London Bhaktivedanta Manor and amongst the congregation of the Bhaktivedanta Manor. I was telling Shruti Dharma Prabhu yesterday while coming back here that it seems like coming from one home to the other. Come here so many times now, so everything in London seems so familiar. The streets, the homes, the faces, the deities, the temple, everything so familiar. So definitely a great pleasure being back home, back to the Bhaktivedanta Manor. My deepest heartfelt gratitude to the temple management at the Bhaktivedanta Manor for having invited me once again here and having given me an opportunity to serve all of you. My gratitude to the volunteers organizing team for this retreat and having called me here. And definitely each and every single one of you for being here on this Easter weekend. I have always thought 7 to be a very interesting number. 7 is a very interesting number because 7 colors form a rainbow. 7 I felt was also a very interesting number because 7 notes form music. In Hindi it's called sargam, sa re ga ma pa dha ni. In English it's called do re mi fa sol la ti. I thought 7 was also a very interesting number because 7 days form a week. I thought 7 was also a very, very interesting number because 7 alphabets forms the word friends. I thought 7 was especially interesting also because 7 feras form a wedlock. That's truly interesting. And I thought 7 was extremely interesting because 7 alphabets form the name Krishna. Krishna. And as soon as we learn how to add this 7 alphabeted name, Krishna, to our life, the life truly becomes a rainbow, colorful. When we learn how to add Krishna to our life, life truly becomes extremely musical. I mean, how can we miss the nice kirtans at the Bhaktivedanta? Beautiful, inspiring kirtans. As soon as we learn how to add the 7 alphabeted name Krishna to our life, we add the best friend to our lives. And as soon as we learn how to add Krishna to our lives, we learn how to add Krishna to a family, to a wedlock, which makes it really meaningful, the 7 Vedas. And as soon as we learn how to add Krishna to our lives, we learn how to make our week very meaningful, because a week without prayer makes one week. And therefore, it is absolutely essential to learn how to add Krishna to every aspect of our lives, to make our life colorful, to make our life musical, to make our life friendly, to make our life family-centered, and to make our time truly worthwhile. Otherwise, without Krishna, a Monday is a mourn day. We keep mourning. Without Krishna, a Tuesday is a tears day. We'll only get tears in our eyes. And without Krishna, a Wednesday is a waste day. Without Krishna, a Thursday is a thirst day, only thirsting for objects. Without Krishna, even a Good Friday is a fry day. We are deeply fried with the miseries of material existence. Without Krishna, a Saturday is a shatter day, where all our hopes and our dreams and our expectations and our anticipations are shattered. And without Krishna, a Sunday is a sin day, where all we have left is doing things that we probably wouldn't have done otherwise. Why I'm bringing this up is because it's a Good Friday. And the message is, we are all here together on this most auspicious occasion of Good Friday to learn how not to make a Friday a fry day by learning how to add the 7 letters K-R-I-S-H-N-A, Krishna. I'm sure it's easier said than done, is it not? It's easier said than done that we want to add Krishna in our lives. And how many of you feel it's a cakewalk? How many of you here feel it's a cakewalk to have Krishna added to life? You know, cakewalk to chant 16 rounds and manage my studies if I'm a student. Cakewalk to serve, to chant, to take care of the family, to take care of the health, to take care of all the aspects of life. And Krishna has come to my life and oh, it's so peaceful, so nice, so wonderful. How many of you feel like this? Oh, what? Wow. Yeah, you do? Wow, wonderful.
I don't do 16 rounds, but I feel blessed.
Yes. Feel blessed by Krishna. It's definitely a big challenge. A big challenge to strike a balance in life. But when we try to bring in Krishna, we do not allow other aspects of our life to be affected by Krishna. You know what? Many times people come to Krishna consciousness, and after having come to Krishna consciousness, because of their chanting Hare Krishna, the other aspects of their lives are badly affected. And they set such a bad example to the world outside. I remember in Mumbai we had a student, and he came to our programs and he was so excited about Krishna consciousness. The first time he went home, back from Mumbai, for a vacation, the mother made for him gajar halwa. And she brought it and said, Beta, tere liye gajar halwa banaya hai. This is a Bollywood film dialogue anyway. I don't know why Bollywood films always the mothers make gajar halwa. It's strange. It somehow happens to be like that. Said, Beta, I've made gajar halwa. And this guy is asking the mother, Ma, tum 16 mala karti ho? Do you chant 16 rounds? She said, what's a round? For her, round means going around. So what's a round? This gentleman, no, do you chant Hare Krishna mantra 16 rounds? I said, no, I don't. Then I won't touch this gajar. So this guy says, I'm not going to touch it. Mother says, Beta, Ma hu main teri. 16 mala kahan se aaya? Main Ma hu. And this guy is returning back by saying, Ma, tum Maya ho. He's calling her Maya. And he didn't touch the gajar halwa. That evening the father comes back. And the mother reported to the father, Tumhara beta baki baatein kar raha hai. He's talking something of the Maya. I don't know what he's talking, Maya and stuff, all of this stuff. So the father called the son and said, what happened? He said, do you chant 16 rounds? He said, no, what are 16 rounds? Then he started arguing. He said, Beta, yaad rakh, main tera papa hoon. And this guy returned back saying, Papa, papi hai. My God. I've seen people go to the extreme end of Krishna consciousness. To the extreme end of Krishna consciousness, out of balance. Fanatics. Rigid fanatics. Trying to just live to the letter of the law of the Gita without understanding what the spirit behind the law is. Rigid fanatics. I've seen sometimes people coming to me and saying, Ashram mein jagah hai? Bola, kya hua? Ghar grahasti maya hai. Family and all of this is maya. You have to work hard, toil like an ass foaming at the mouth and blah, 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 blah. I just want to quit it all and find a nice bunk bed in the ashram. Doesn't mind if there are a few bed bugs in there, but at least I feel I've done my lot. My God. One man came to a sadhu and said, I have a big problem in my marriage. What's your advice? How do you sort it out? The sadhu said, Beta, if it was possible to sort it out, would I be a sadhu? If possible to sort it all out, would I be a sadhu? My God. I have found people at the other end of the spectrum, absolutely rigid, fanatic, focused absolutely on Krishna, quote unquote, and absolutely out of balance and out of touch with the regular world, responsibilities in the regular world, real life, out of touch. And they think they're living in Golok Vrindavan. I don't know if I would call it Golok Vrindavan. I've also found people on this side of the spectrum, where you ask someone, are you chanting? Say, what does that mean? The beings are fasting for the last 25 years. Nirjan. Not a drop has been given yet. What about do you render some service in the temple? Service? What does that mean? They are meant to render service to me. I don't render all that service and stuff. We come to the temple sometimes, yeah. I send someone to put a proxy. You know what a proxy is? Janmashtami. Janmashtami to Janmashtami for darshan. Bhagwan ko hajri laga ke bata diya. I came Krishna. My God. Some people absolutely involved with family responsibilities, my daughter's wedding, my son's education, my work, my this, my that. And I found people at this side of the spectrum where they're so involved in the real life issues and the real life responsibilities that Krishna consciousness seems to be a far reality. Which side of the spectrum are you in? Sorry? In Krishna consciousness, somehow there's a good thing. It's neither black nor white, it's somewhere in the middle. It's neither to the extreme of Krishna, 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 nor Maya, 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 this family responsibility. How many of you have found that to strike a balance between the two is a true challenge? How many of you have found that while taking care of your family, while taking care of your health, while taking care of your kids and your education and XYZ things, to also add Krishna to the right amount is a challenge? It indeed is. And therefore, to bring in a balance in life, I feel is a very, very important topic to discuss. And here we are this morning trying to see if we can come out with something in terms of adding some small aspects of balance to our lives. Srila Prabhupada, he explains how the conditioned soul is like a pendulum. The pendulum goes on extremes, one end to the other. And for the pendulum to come to the golden mean, to the balance, is not as easy. Very difficult. Srila Prabhupada explains that you find people fluctuating between two extremes of bhoga and tyaga. Enjoyment and renunciation. How many of you, when you see rasgulla, which happens to be your favorite prep, end up taking 5 if they are available? None. If rasgulla was a bad example, take whatever is your favorite. As they say, I don't like rasgulla, you might think, but whatever is your favorite. End up taking. Someone found out what my favorite is, and they start making this favorites here. So I had it, it was nice. And now as it gets communicated all over the congregation, whichever home I go to, guess what's on the plate? Oh, Prabhuji loves this. Oh, Prabhuji loves this. And for me, the first phase of my trip is bhoga. Oh, wow. And it is 20 days, 25 days where I eat the same prep. Then I go to the other extreme. Pag gaya. That's a Bombay slang, it's tired of it, it's enough of it now. Bhoga, Tyaga. Bhoga, Tyaga. Any of you ever experienced this? Suddenly making a Kartik vow, I won't eat sweets. One of our brahmacharis made a vow for 2 years he wouldn't eat anything fried. He was successful. And the day he broke his vow, the first day after the 2 years were over, he ended up eating 36 and a half batata vadas. Wow! Look at that! Srila Prabhupada explains in the Nectar of Devotion, this is what we are. The conditioned soul. Always fluctuating between extremes without finding a balance. Without finding a true balance of how much to eat, how less to eat, how much to do, how less to do, how much is too much, how less is too less. Wow. It takes a lot of experience, wisdom, maturity, and guidance to be able to come to that golden mean, to find what is just the right amount of whatever we do in our lives. Prabhupada explains on a week, all through the week, a person will work hard like anything, toil. And then for the weekend he'll go and relax and enjoy. From Bhoga to Tyaga. And on a Monday back again. Tyag bhog, enjoy, work. Why can't we work while we enjoy? Why can't we enjoy while we work? Funny, but most people don't take note of it. There was a lady, she said to her husband, you know what, I think we should go for a vacation, no? I said, okay, fine. Okay, first we'll go to Switzerland. We'll go to Zurich, spend 10 days there. After that we'll go straight to Hawaii. And we'll relax in Hawaii for about 2 weeks. And then we'll go to Addis Ababa for about 2 weeks. And then we could probably go to New Zealand for about 10 days. And then the lady said, well, why are you quiet? I'm only choosing the places Switzerland, Addis Ababa, New Zealand. Why are you quiet? You should also choose a place to go for vacation. I said, okay. So where should we go? He said, we'll go to a temple in India. So the wife said, for how long? He said, for 1 year. I said, go to a temple in India for a year, what for? The husband said, very simple. After spending so much money on vacation, both of us will sit with katoras in our hand. For 1 year outside the temple begging just to cover up for all the money that we spent on these vacations. But truly, I'll tell you, how life just tends to be out of balance, isn't it? Extremes of bhoga and tyaga. Srila Prabhupada explains, sense gratification is like adding salt to a preparation. A little too less, you can't relish the preparation. And a little too much, you can't relish the preparation. In order to relish a preparation, the salt has to be in the exact amount that it's meant to give that flavor. And Srila Prabhupada explains similarly, sense enjoyment, sense gratification in our life must also be exactly to the degree that it's like salt. Of course, Krishna conscious sense gratification, but just the right amount. Not too much, not too less. Balance in life means salt, isn't it? Add just the right amount to life. So you don't feel out of balance, you don't feel stressed, you don't feel frustrated. How many of you feel stressed sometimes? Just keeping everything in place? And how many of you feel frustrated that you can't? How many of you made resolutions that you wanted to? How many of you clinged on to your resolutions for more than 2 weeks? Some of them have. Great. My God, very nice to add salt. Just the right amount. So life becomes palatable. Life becomes relishable. Life becomes delicious. Otherwise, sometimes there's too much salt. Frustrated. Sometimes there's too less salt. Na koi umang hai. ना कोई तरंग है, मेरी जिंदगी है क्या एक कटी पतंग है. Lost knowing not what to do. You know, my God, seems like an art to do it. The 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam explains to us an interesting analogy. The analogy of the horse. And the 11th canto explains what a devotee does, what a yogi does. A yogi is like a horse rider, a jockey. Did all of you know this? That all of you are jockeys, riding horses, unseen to your eyes? The yogi never goes to an extreme. A jockey, a horse rider, will always tame the horse in such a way that he'll keep the reins of the horse in his hand tight so that the horse does not go haywire here and there everywhere. But when the yogi keeps the reins, or the horse rider keeps the reins of the horse held too tight for too long, then the horse goes wild. Makes screeching sounds, starts getting onto its legs, goes wild. So what does the yogi do? What does the horse rider do? The jockey do? Sometimes he keeps the reins pulled tight so that the horse doesn't go wild. But when he realizes that the horse is getting too wild, he allows the reins a little loose. Okay, fine, go ahead. And a devotee, a yogi is exactly like this. He does not hold things too tight. Because if he does, he becomes like a horse. Mad, frustrated, crazy. He allows some leeway for sense gratification, Krishna conscious sense gratification. And when he finds that it's going too much on that side, then he pulls back. You know what? How many of you have taken vows in your spiritual life? Not the spiritual vows of 16 round and 4 principles and that. No, it's common. Special vows for Kartik? Anyone? How many of you have ever taken a vow that I won't touch a single sweet for Chaturmasya? No one. My God. How many of you have taken at least some vow for the 4 months? I usually try to take this 4 months vow for sweets and fry, Chaturmasya. I don't know about its spiritual merit. I do know that I can deal with my tires on the belly. There's just so much eating all the time. So you just need to cut down on your weight. And you know what? The day you make a vow, last time when I made a vow, one family from Bombay came up to me and they just returned from Switzerland. And they brought the finest brands of vegetarian white chocolate and said, Prabhuji, this is for you. I said, एक दिन पहले नहीं आ सकते थे? You couldn't come a day before. Now 4 months I'm off sweets. I said, man, I have to give these sweets away, this white chocolates away with a heavy heart. And everyone was thinking, Prabhuji, aap nahi khate? Nahi khata. Everyone was thinking, so kind of him, he's giving such nice white chocolates. Have you ever found that the way you make a vow to bring in some balance, we are tested? Do you know that after this seminar, some of you would probably think that I need to add some of these elements, and do you know that when you step out of this room, you will be tested? As soon as we decide and resolve to do something higher, it's going to be a test. For me, many times I try to use this analogy of the horse in my eating. And I think it should be used in everything. I let myself go free when I come to London. I don't have a choice anyways. I just let myself free. And when I get back, 2 months of dieting. There's no choice. After London, you have to, probably 2 months would be less. Such rich food, my God. And everyone thinks, oh, he's coming to our house after a year. You just make about 35 items for the feast. And they don't realize I'm having 21 feasts for lunch and 21 feasts for dinner. And I only have one stomach. So one has to follow this principle of the horse in life. One has to follow the principle of the salt in life. Just the right amount. Let go, pull back. Let go, pull back. Going too much into Krishna consciousness? Let go. My God. Everyone's thinking, is he a monk? Telling us to let go of Krishna consciousness? Yes! All of you are family people. None of you are monks here, are you? If you really truly want to hold on to Krishna consciousness as much, come on, join us. Join us. No issues. Sometimes in the name of hanging on to Krishna consciousness, Grihastha couples do violence to their families. Sorry. I'm sorry. There could be extreme degree of violence to the family. You know? My God. Let go a little bit. Let go. Last time I was talking to a family in a Sangha program and I said, do you take your wife and kids for vacations? I said, vacations? What did you say? Come again? Are you from Chopati? You recommend vacations? What are you talking? Well, you need the right amount of soil. You need to tame the horse rightly. Let go. I'm not saying let go of chanting. Otherwise everyone's thinking let go of Krishna consciousness. Oh, this is exactly what we were waiting for. And the next Bhaktivedanta Man, the newsletter prints. Gaur Gopal Das from Chopati says, let go of chanting Hare Krishna. And the GBC will call me for a meeting. In Mayapur, what are you talking? When I say let go, it doesn't mean the fundamental foundational aspects of Krishna consciousness. It means certain things that we could adjust by giving a little attention to other aspects of our life. Letting go. And when you realize you're getting too much into that, then pull back. Pull back. Let go. Pull back. Let go. Pull back. That's how we will get a balance. There's no ideal balance in life. Did you know that? There's nothing called as an ideal balance at any point of time in life. Sometimes you'll find yourself too much involved. You may have to pull yourself a little bit and pay attention to other aspects. If you find yourself too much involved here, pull yourself a little bit and pay attention to your Krishna consciousness. Exactly like the 11th canto verse, which talks about a yogi who deals with the senses like a horse rider, a jockey deals with a horse. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains that our bhakti and our spiritual life is many times ghana tarala. Ghana means condensed, like viscous honey trickling down on the ice cream. You know, thick honey flowing down. How many of you felt those moments where you felt like ghana in your bhakti? Krishna, I'm missing you. Krishna, I want to hear more, serve more, do more. Have any of you ever had those phases in your life? The high times, the honey times, the ghana times. And then there's also the tarala. Tarala is the water. No viscosity at all. Straight flowing. Suddenly you find our resolve and our bhakti diluted. Once it was honey, Krishna, I want to Krishna, Krishna. And suddenly, 2 months later you find temple. I get headaches in my temples when I think about a temple. Don't want to go to a temple. Service. Kirtan. Don't they have some other mantras? All life, all day long. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. There's no variety. Ever felt like that? No? Wow, good. Good. No variety, the same faces, isn't it? Same faces every Sunday, every Saturday, every Sangha program, every wedding, every birthday party, every social get-together, every volunteers retreat. Same faces. Yeah? My God. Ghana Tarala. How many of you have experienced this Ghana Tarala business that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained? The thick viscosity of the honey and the liquidity, fluidity of water. Diluted. My God. Sometimes you'll have Haribol and tears in the eyes. And sometimes there are tears in the eyes. Why did Prabhupada give 16 rounds of chanting? Oh my God. Oof. Too much. Too much. And therefore I think it's not just devotional service. How many of you have experienced this ghana tarla in every aspect of your life? Sometimes the affection for the wife is ghana. And sometimes for the affection for the wife is tarala. Watery. Viscous honey and watery liquids. Sometimes the enthusiasm to take care of the health is ghana. Sometimes who cares? Just eat it. Someone's on a macrobiotic diet and the other extreme, chocolates, cakes, pastries, banoffee pie and whatever else exists under the sun. I was thinking, our acharyas like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur are so candid, aren't they? It's not just about Krishna consciousness, it's about every aspect of our life that we go through this thing called ghana, tarala, the honey water phases of our life. If translated in English, the ghana tarala is the honey water phases of our life, something condensed like honey, sometimes liquid like water. And therefore, I think there is such a need to bring in the balance. Are you all with me?
Yes.
Am I making any sense at all? Or am I talking something just
No.
out of the blues? You know? And therefore, it's such a crucial element to bring in this balance. What is balance? Srila Prabhupada explains what balance is. If you see the dictionary meaning also, balance means harmony, balance means equilibrium, balance means stability, where one side does not get more weightage than the other. You know, we see our life like this. On one end is material life, on the other end is our spiritual life. All the time keeps fluctuating and always seems out of balance. How many of you can say that this scale diagram for you is in place? Anyone here can say everything is in place? I chant my 16 rounds daily and I give enough time to my family and I take care of my health and I go for a jog and I eat just the right amount of prasad and never indulge in too much. I get adequate amount of rest and I do a lot of service. I read Prabhupada books for 1.5 hours a day. I go for a preaching program and give lectures. I chant in kirtans. I dance in Mangalartis. I am a blissful Hare Krishna. Wow. Seems so hard, isn't it? To put both of them on the right level. The only one person who can do it is Krishna. Please, don't ever think that you will be able to succeed in finding a balance. My God! Right at the beginning of the seminar on finding balance, I'm saying, don't ever dream that you will ever find that ideal balance in life. The only one person who can do it ideally is Krishna. You know? My God. Krishna is that one person who will be successful in doing it. What happens when you are in balance? When one is in balance, the mind is peaceful. How many of you feel that your work is going great? Professionals? Anyone here? Work is going good? My God. The financial scenario of UK seems very bleak. The economic condition of UK seems really poor. No one's raising their hands. How many of you feel your rounds are going great? I don't know, on a Good Friday morning, why are we talking these bad things? Looks like. How many of you think your relationships are going great?
It's a bad Friday. Nobody wants to jinx it.
How many of you think that your health is going great? Goodness, no one is raising their hand, girl.
It's a Good Friday. Don't want to make it a bad Friday. wants to jinx it.
Nobody wants to jinx it. Okay, fine. You know what? Sometimes the work's going great, the rounds are going great, and the relationships are strained. Have you had times when things are going good in life, except that you have some trouble with someone? Is your mind peaceful? If you have a trouble with a devotee, is your mind peaceful? Can't be. And the relationships are good, and the work is going great, but rounds are suffering. Is the mind peaceful? Always on the back of the mind, I have to work on my rounds, not chanting my rounds properly, not chanting my right number of my rounds. And the rounds are going okay, and the relationships are fine, but the work's not going fine. Is the mind peaceful? And everything's going fine, and there's a trouble with the family. Mind peaceful? You know what? When we try to bring in balance amongst all of these things, we're trying to keep our minds peaceful. And a peaceful mind makes a happy devotee. A peaceful mind makes a happy devotee. Not a disturbed, agitated mind. If the mind is disturbed and agitated at all points of time, where are we going to relish the bliss of Krishna consciousness? Where are we going to relish and taste the joy of life? You know? Why do we need balance? Why do we need to tame those horses and add the right amount of salt and do all of that stuff? Because we want to keep a peaceful mind. And the two aspects of a peaceful mind are, first, we are effective in whatever we do. Whether it's chanting, whether it's family, whether it's work. If the mind is peaceful, we can do the most out of what we do. And second, is we remain satisfied. We need balance to get a peaceful mind, which gives us these two things. Effectiveness in whatever we do. If my mind is peaceful and I'm happy, I'll chant my rounds nicely, I'll talk to the devotees nicely, I'll do my service nicely, I'll do my work nicely, I'll do my family nicely. Again, the ideal is not possible, but I'll try, because I have a peaceful mind. A disturbed, agitated mind cannot be effective. Because there's always something lugging inside. Always something there. I'm chanting my rounds and I've been laid off from office. What about a job? You know? And I'm chanting my rounds and that devotee whom I hurt is sitting right next to me. God, it's all the time in the mind. How many of you have had revenge fantasies for devotees? 60% of the executives in England have dreamt of killing their bosses. Truly, statistic. You may not have had dreams of killing a devotee. That's too much. But dreams of, if he says this now, I'll say this. Oh, kya samajhti hai apne aap? Oh, kya samajhta hai? Let him say this and I'll do this. He's gone there, I'll go here. God. The need for balance is because of two reasons. We want to be effective in whatever we do, and we want to experience satisfaction in our devotional service. And both of these will come when our mind is peaceful. And the mind will only remain peaceful when we work towards finding balance. You know what Brian Dyson, the former CEO of Coca-Cola, said? He said, life is like juggling balls. We have 5 balls that we are juggling. I'm sure all of you will be able to relate to this picture very much. One of the balls is work. How many of you juggle with work? Working as professionals, housewife, whatever. Yes? The second ball is health. How many of you try to keep your health in place? Yeah. The third ball is family. Attention to family. The fourth ball is friends. And the fifth ball is our Krishna consciousness, our chanting, our devotion service. How many of you felt that you juggle these balls daily, regularly in your life? Brian Dyson has given all of you a title. Jugglers. Jugglers. We're all trying to juggle these balls in life, and keep them all going, and not one is meant to fall off. How many of you felt that once in a while a ball falls off? Some of you feel that? Some of you feel that because of work, the children or the family is not getting time, so that ball is kind of slipping out of hands? Yes. How many of you feel sometimes that because of paying too much attention to work and family, the health is slipping out of hands, and there is, as health is slipping, there is a slip disc? Right? Do you ever find yourself in this situation? Is it life truly like this? You know what Brian Dyson said? He said, work is like a rubber ball. If it slips off your hand, it will bounce back. But the other four are like a glass ball. If they slip off the hand, they are either cracked, marked, scuffed, damaged, or even shattered. A relationship. I'll tell you, in running after work, and running after just Hare Krishna, sorry, a relationship can badly affect it, family relationship, and to make it the same again, extremely difficult. You know? So crucial that we learn how to keep all these five in place. Oh my dear family. Is it not? Some people say, oh, family, black hole. Keep putting as much, keep sucking. You know? One lady came and said to the husband, the doctor told me, I'm sick and therefore I can only recuperate when I go for a vacation. So where should we go? Should we go to New York? Or maybe we can go to Los Angeles? Or maybe we can go to Goa at least? Where should we go? The husband said, we'll go to another doctor. Who is that doctor who's telling you that in order to recuperate you need to go for a vacation? Just hang on. In a family, the son says, Papa, I want an iPad. The wife says, I want an iPhone. The daughter says, I want an iPod. So with the iPhone, the iPod, the iPad, the father says, I pay. At the end of it all, here's the man running around. How many of you feel like this? I'm sorry to bring out the realities of life. Find ourselves in the scenario, isn't it? To try to keep up with the expectations of the family and do everything, my God. One ship that will never sink. Relationship. Never sink. Every other ship will sink except relationship. And therefore, while trying to find the balance, remember one very crucial aspect. These people matter a lot to us. At the end of the day, we are doing it all for these people here in the family. They matter a lot to us. My child, my wife, my son, my husband, my father, my mother. They matter a lot to me. And in finding a balance in life, whatever I do, I can never do it at the cost of people who mean to me. People whose shoulders I need to put my head on and cry tears when I need to. People whose shoulders I need to put my head on and smile if need to. Cannot overlook this very important aspect of our life. Relationships are important. Please carry back these 3 important principles to bring a balance in our relationships this morning. First, please never try to prove your point. In a relationship, we can't always try to prove our points. The question is whether we want to prove or we want to improve. If we want to prove, it's hard to improve that relationship. And if we want to improve that relationship, we will have to learn how to stop trying to prove our point always. How many of you felt that you were right at some point of time in a relationship? or most times that I'm right. And how many times does the ego scream, tell him you're right? Even in the family. What the hell does she think? She has done it. I know I'm right. I must say it. How many have ended saying it? Good, at least some hands are up. We have all ended up saying it. Even with the hands not up, we have all ended up saying this. Always trying to prove the point, saying, I am right. You know what? In trying to always prove that we are right, the relationship gets bruised. The relationship gets distanced. The person feels not loved, not appreciated, not understood. The person feels always at the other end of the receiving end, feels trashed. He's always saying, I'm right, you're wrong, I'm right, you're wrong. My God. Even if I prove that I'm right, but if a person is hurt and the result is wrong, then my right is wrong. My right is wrong. If by proving that I am right and holding on to the righteousness, if the result is that a person is distanced and hurt, then my right is wrong. First carry home message for this one. Balance in the family and in our relationships. We have to let go. All right. No problem. Tera gadha aage, मेरा घोड़ा पीछे. मेरा घोड़ा ही है, सही हूं मैं. तेरा गधा है, तू गधा है. लेकिन ये रिलेशनशिप को चलाने के लिए ना, तेरा गधा आगे, मेरा घोड़ा पीछे. Don't say that. That will spoil it even further. You know what I mean? I think try this for this Easter weekend. Try this for this Easter weekend of not trying to simply prove my rightness and someone else's wrongness. If the result of the right is wrong, the right is wrong. The second aspect is shrug off the differences and idiosyncrasies. You know how many times do we feel like this sometimes? Sometimes ladies feel, मैंने अपने पति को कितनी बार बोला है फैक्ट्री नहीं करने का पार्टी में. पार्टी में जाके यूं करते हैं. और you know, अरे पार्टी में हैं हम. At least in public. How many of you have found idiosyncrasies and differences people who you relate to? No one? Husbands, wives. My God. Sorry, yeah. With so many differences and idiosyncrasies in our ashram, I used to feel really irritated with one of our ashram mates. We used to always be, you know, talking about stuff and always, I used to feel what an air around him. I did. Sick of him. I got sick of him at a point of time. Thinking that I just need to withdraw. And I was thinking I am the holier than thou, the guy with the halo around my head where everything is so perfect and everything is so nice and amazing. You know? And then one gentleman came up to me and said, you are such a superficial hypocrite. I said, thank you. You didn't find any better decent words to express that. Saying you're so superficial hypocrite. I said, why do you say this? He said, you know, when you glorify people and talk good about people, so on the surface and superficial and shallow and hypocritical, you don't mean it, but you say it. And I was thinking I'm truly glorifying devotees. But it's like I was thinking that this guy is bombastic about his talks. There was someone who was thinking I was, hypocritical and superficial. In a relationship, we have to learn to overlook differences and idiosyncrasies, because if I'm tolerating his bombastic talks, he's tolerating my superficial hypocrisy. We all have weaknesses, we all have differences, we all have shortcomings, and we have to live with each other, tolerating all of these differences and shrugging it off, taking it off. Otherwise, hard to move on. We need to focus on the intent of people. What is their intention? The good qualities and the good character and the intention of the people, that's what makes a relationship a good dream. So A is not to prove, but to improve. B is to shrug off and overlook all differences and idiosyncrasies and learn the virtue of tolerance. And C is move from analysis to acceptance. How many of you have felt that you're too convinced about something and you try to put it across to a family member or someone whom you relate to, but that person can't understand you? Any of you ever felt like this? You know, someone says there's a wedding in the family, and the husband says, I think we should have the wedding this way. He's so convinced, this, and he's trying to put, but no one just appreciates. You know, we can't always try to have put our point across to everyone, because everyone's such an individual and everyone's so different, everyone's so unique. They don't feel the same for it as you feel for it. They don't feel for Krishna consciousness as much as you feel for it. And it's very important not always thinking that I should be accepted. It's important to accept them for what they are. Accept them for what they are, and you shall see what a difference it makes in relationships. So when it comes to bringing a balance here in our relationships, please remember these three very important points. Not always trying to prove my rightness. Trying to overlook differences and idiosyncrasies and learning how to handle, because the person is tolerating me as well. And thirdly, not always trying to analyze the personality and be accepted, and all my thinking and all my values and everything that I believe must be accepted by others. No. I must learn how to accept the person for what he or she is. And I can promise you, for sure, it's a time-tested formula. If these values can be in place, we'll find some element of balance moving into our relationships. You know? Should we move on a little bit for a while? Friends. Oh my God. How much we need them, don't we? I read a nice quote saying, the mathematics of life. Add friends, subtract worries, divide sorrows, and multiply joys. You know? Add friends to your life, subtract your worries, divide your sorrows, and multiply your joys. How many of you have a devotee friend? A sincere, genuine devotee friend. And what we discussed about relationships in the family applies to this as well. The same three things apply in relationships with friends as well, because it's a general principle for all relationships. What about this? How many of you think you've been able to find the right balance in your health? खाने पीने में एकदम कंट्रोल है. तार मध्य जीवाती लोभमोय सुदुर्मति ताके जेता कठिन संसारी. Krishna bada doyamoy, and he gives the jiva joy. Krishna bada doyamoy, and he gives the jiva joy by eating. Truly raise your hands if you feel this. That it's a pressure to attend all the Sangha programs and eat there. How many of you feel like this? Not to attend the Sangha programs. Sangha program attendance is fine. But the eating part, 10:30 in the night. Quarter to 11. There is dhokla. There is handwa. There is pizza. There is a burger. There is cakes. There's ice creams. And a big meal. And you say, Prabhuji, how much effort has gone, I have to please the host. You know what to do. How much Mataji has worked hard to after all please the host, isn't it? Hard. I went to Bahrain, to the Middle East. And I was doing a kids program, of all things, which I usually don't do, but I was doing a kids program. Out of ideas what to say. I was kind of trying to say something. And I said, what sweet do you all like? So one little tiny tot said, Mysore Pak. You know what Mysore Pak is? It's an Indian sweet. Complicated to make. And then all the kids started laughing loudly. What a sheepish, primitive Indian. He likes Mysore Pak. So just to make this guy feel at home, I said, my favorite sweet is also Mysore Pak, which it is not. I just happened to say it. And there was a lot of families sitting in the class. The next morning was a breakfast. I went for the breakfast, 8 o'clock in the morning. There were 2 shocks waiting for me. I'll tell you the second one later, I'll tell you the first one first. The first shock was, for breakfast there were only 32 items. One of which was Mysore Pak. And out of the 32 items, the maximum quantity was a Mysore Pak. It was like a Govardhan hill on top of the Mysore Pak. You can imagine. Oh my God. And then the husband comes and tells me, you know what? Mataji, she got up at 12:30 in the morning to make all these items for you. So just to get it ready by 8, these 32 items, she got up at 12:30. Now I could not say, I never asked for 32. I said, okay. And just to be able to honor the hard work that went in from 12:30 to 8, I had to sample all the 32. And then they asked, how is the Mysore Pak? I said, it's great. Please take more. I said, there's already a Giriraj here. Finish all of this. Oh my God. Oh, Hare Krishna. And the second shock I was waiting for was after the breakfast at 9 o'clock was a program. After eating 32 items. And the program was an only ladies program. And I had an identity crisis. Said, who am I? Where have I come from? What is the goal of life? You can imagine. And I told the host, apart from you, is there any other man in the house? He said, anything for I'm there, no one. I said, there are 40 and you one, 2 of us. Please call a few more. Oh goodness. I can imagine that experience of mine. I remember going to Bahrain. I went again and I definitely ate a lot of my soup later. How many of you experience that eating is hard? Hard to say no, na? इतना प्रेम से बनाया है प्रभु ऐसा मना कर रही आप You know the host feels hurt. He didn't eat. You didn't like it? Or you didn't like us? What is it that you don't like? Hard to keep it in balance, right? A couple, a lady is waking up the husband in the middle of the night, said, get up, what happened? There's a thief in the house. Said, so? So how is this thief in the house? So what is he stealing? He said he's stealing a chunk of the cake I baked last night in the fridge. So this guy's saying, whom should I call, the police or the ambulance? Since you baked the cake, I don't know whom to call, the police. Oh my God. Eating can be anxiety when it comes to health, isn't it? How many of you get enough rest? How many of you sleep enough? Just enough sleep, right amount of sleep, 6, 7, 8 hours, peaceful sleep, non-REM sleep, no problems. Absolutely relaxed when you wake up, fresh like a radish from the field, ready to go on the move. how many of you think you have some time for exercise? How many of you do some exercise? Some yoga, some workout, some jogging, some something. You know? One brahmachari was so exhausted, he came to our temple during Guru Puja and he offered his obeisances to Srila Prabhupada in Chopati. And he slept there. He slept in front of Srila Prabhupada. You know? And one of the sannyasis standing there, he was waiting. What happened? Did he die? Has he fainted? Has he fallen unconscious? What happened? And then he called the brahmachari and said, wake him up! And then one brahmachari had to go after 6 minutes. Wake him up! Came back. My God, and some people are so anti-exercise. So what's the use of doing exercise? A postman is cycling all day long. In India, not here. And the postman is still not immortal. And a whale is swimming all day long. So cycling is no good. And a whale is swimming all day long, only drinking water. And still you can see how fat the whale is. What's the point of swimming? And the hare, the rabbit, is hopping all day long. And still only lives for 15 years. And look at a tortoise. Slow and steady. No exercise, does nothing, just relaxes. And lives for 450 years. You know what? Please take these 4 things as a balance to your life today in terms of your health. See if you can cut off a few things in eating which are not needed. See if you can manage to get into a regimen of some little exercise, whatever. See if it's possible to get some good quality rest. I know that a good quality rest, what is needed?
Peaceful mind.
Peaceful mind and relaxed. Therefore, when life is in balance, you sleep and sleep peacefully. Well, fine, very important. Health. Oh my God. Important, isn't it? Bringing a balance in Krishna consciousness. To see that we chant our rounds every day. To see that we chant the particular prescribed number of rounds every day. To see that we do our quota of services. To see that we increase our responsibilities in service to Srila Prabhupada. To see that we probably pick up a book of Prabhupada and read a little bit. To see that we have time for association. I'll tell you what, if we try to balance the other 4, it will definitely leave us enough room to do the 5th. Because with a peaceful mind, to relish Krishna consciousness is easy. Have you anyone here has had opposition from family in Krishna consciousness? Some of you have had, you know. My God, when I joined the temple, I had to run away from home in the middle of the night. And I had to make a dummy with pillows and cover it with a blanket and run away. And guess when my mother and my grandmother pulled that blanket off? Shock of their life to see these pillows under there. And both of them fell to the ground crying. Probably they would have got a cardiac arrest or something. My God, it was the same somehow. And when I was in the temple, one thing on the back of my mind, family, mother, father, what's happening? Oh, my health is bad, this is bad. Juggling balls. To find the balance means to relish Krishna consciousness. To strike a balance in family, in health, in work, with our friends, in our relationships, means to relish Krishna consciousness. Susukham kartum avyayam. It is joyfully executed. The path of Krishna consciousness is joyfully executed, not miserably executed. Krishna has not come to make our lives miserable. Krishna has come to make our lives joyful, exuberant. Our life is meant to be exhilarating. But if we are out of balance, we will not be able to relish Krishna consciousness, nor will we be able to do justice to the other things that we do. A few pointers. How to bring in that balance? First, never compare. Do not ever compare oneself with another. trying to see that, look how his life is balanced. If I do the same thing, my life will be balanced. We are all very unique and different. We're all individuals. And we all have individual skill sets, individual psyches, individual qualities, individual issues, individual situations. It's not a golden formula that works for everyone the same. No. Every individual is a different individual. Sometimes people see others and think, hey, I think I should start going to the temple like he goes every morning for Mangalarti. Well, good. But also look at the other side of his life. And his particular life allows him to work less because he's got a lot of inheritance from the past. So he has more time to go for Mangalarti. I don't have that inheritance and I have to slog it out. And if I try to go for Mangalarti, God, I'm going to be a stressed out guy. You know what brahmacharis? They compare books. Their comparison is which book you have? New one? They compare gadgets. What is your iPod? Is it 60 GB, 80 GB, 200 GB, 650 GB? What's your laptop? A MacBook Pro? A MacBook this? An iBook Air? Blah blah blah. What is it? You know what householders compare? Householders compare homes. Householders compare cars. Householder compares brands. Householders compare family members, wives, on the lighter side. You know, when someone told me, when two couples come to meet each other, the ladies are looking at each other's saris and costumes and the men are looking at each other's wives. Sorry about that. Just on the lighter side. Just to be on the lighter side. Goodness. When we compare, we can never be satisfied. And if we are satisfied, we'll never compare. A person who compares can never find satisfaction. And a person who is satisfied has no business comparing himself with others. Krishna is kind to everyone and has given us what we have. Getting into that mode of comparison over things, lives, family members, people, time, inheritance, homes. My God. Don't compare. That gentleman's doing what he's doing because the situation allows him. If you try to find that balance, it will not work. Secondly, we should remember, finding a balance is like a tightrope walk. Is it not? There is no ideal balance at any point of time on the rope. At every single point, the balance is different. Today for you, probably health is what needs balance. 1 month down the line, your Krishna consciousness may need that balance. 3 weeks down the line, your work may need that balance. And 4 weeks down the line, your wife may need that time. It's not a fixed thing that finding a balance means today everything has to be in place and every aspect I have to give time. It's not how it works. On a tightrope walk, every moment is different. And therefore there is a rod to balance it. You know? That rod, as soon as you find tipping yourself to one side, the rod has to go to the other. And the proportion in which it goes to the other is different at different points of time on the tightrope walk. That rod is guidance. That rod represents guidance in our spiritual life and in our personal lives. If we have the guidance of wise, mature, experienced devotees, they'll tell us where we are going off balance and what area of our life needs time. The third is set priorities. Very, very important to set our priorities. You know what? Life is like a lemon in the spoon race. How many of you played this race? You know? You're supposed to cross the line with the lemon still on the spoon. And imagine, passionately you start running. And you cross the line, but the lemon's fallen off. And you say, hey look, I made it. What's the point? If we cross the line of what we wanted to achieve, but missed the lemon, those things that are so important to us, the family, the health, the friends, our Krishna consciousness, if we missed them, we've crossed the line, but missed the lemon. Set priorities. What means a lot to us? What is of true value to us? And we have to give that time and attention. And you know what we need to do for that? Exercise our choice. I'm saying no. If I need to give time to my family, I need to cut off on this one social event that I have to go to. It's not that everyone has to go to all social events, do we? But sometimes we take it upon ourselves and think, मैं नहीं जाऊंगा तो चरण नहीं लगेगा तो पावन कैसे होगा वो social event? I have to go and touch my lotus feet to that place so that the whole place is purified and holy. You know? We need courage to exercise our choice to say no. If my chanting means to me, that means I have to cut off on something else. If my family means something to me, then I have to cut off on some area. If my health means something to me, I have to cut off on my healthy food, unhealthy food. My God. It means a lot of sacrifices, cutting off, setting priorities. The fourth aspect of finding balance is be flexible. Be flexible. Don't be rigid. I decided not to eat sweets and these sweets have come. Oh, how can I eat it? It's my vow. I'm not going to take it. Very important to be flexible and adjust. Forgive ourselves. We need to forgive ourselves for what we decided and we can't do. Many times life is far from ideal. You want to bring an ideal balance, you want to bring in an ideal status, but life is far from idealism. In real life, we have to adjust. Stop striving for perfection. We cannot strive to be a perfectionist. We have to strive to be a realist. And a realist is one who adjusts. At all times, I'll try and keep this balance going, but if there are a few factors I need to adjust, fine, no problem. Not too messy about it, not too picky about it, not too finicky about it, fine, I'll do it. Fifth thing, to find a balance, create a support system. If we give time to our family will be there to relieve us of some of our responsibilities, to give us time. If we create devotee friends, the devotee friends will help us to create time and balance things. We need people. We need a support system of devotees, our family members, our friends, our good health, all of which will help us to look for that balance. The sixth thing is relax. If we don't take a break, we are in for a breakdown. If we cannot take a break, we are in for a breakdown. There are very few people, because of their previous karmic backgrounds, they can work with such tenacity and they can take too much on their heads. Not everyone's the same. We need a break. And a break, what a break is for us, everything is just different for everyone. So different for everyone. It could just mean a vacation, it could mean just some time chanting, it could mean just sitting and taking darshan. So different for everyone. We all need a break from this lecture as well, so I'm ending. Seventh, be realistic. Accept the limitation that I am a human being with 4 defects and I cannot bring in the ideal amount of balance in my life. Dasharath married Kaikeyi. He was 20 years old, and in paying attention to the 20-year-old queen, he went off balance by neglecting Kausalya and Sumitra. And this is the father of Sri Ramchandra. If the father of Sri Ramchandra has a trouble, I don't know if anyone else can balance it. Of course, no one has 3 wives now, so that's not a problem. Just as an example. Lord Krishna is the only one personality. He had 16,108 and he could balance giving attention to each and every single one of them. Accept our limitations. Abandon analysis. Don't just keep thinking how to balance. Albert Einstein said, life is like a bicycle. When you're moving, it's balanced. If you stop, it falls onto the extreme ends. We have to move on with life without too much analysis. And thirdly, we have to accept practicality, adopt practicality. We cannot give equal time to all the areas of our life, our health, our family, our friends, our chanting, equally every day. But if we can spend quality time and in good quantities, on and off. You're all thinking, every day I can give time to chanting, to family, to health. It won't happen like that. But all through, if we can spend quality time on and off with these areas, I think that can set in a good balance. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.